Do we just go back into the past again and just tell everyone what happened, or is there something that we can use to gain info here? Like what comes next after Mikey dying now? Like where do we go from here to find the info and everything that we need? What's up? I'm Grizz. Welcome back. Season finale, season 2 finale, Tokyo Revengers. I don't know. I really don't know how to feel. I don't know where we're going from here. Last episode was easily far and away the best episode of the season and of this arc, so good on them for that. Can they top it again? Can they leave us on something strong? Will we get left on another cliffhanger like we did season 1? I saw season 3 got confirmed on Twitter earlier, so clearly they have the ability to leave us on one and not feel too bad about it, so we're probably gonna get one of those. What can we find out more in the future? What are we gonna go back in the past? What are we gonna try and set up? No idea. Just figure it out, I guess. You like it all, hit the like, subscribe, mean a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Also recommend me any other shows for the spring season specifically to watch maybe. I have a few lined up I'm going to kind of record episodes of and just do stuff like that when they come out. But if there's anything specifically you wanted to see for that season, let me know. Also, if you are just interested, in the description there's going to be a timestamp towards after my discussion about this specific episode, and I'm just going to give my overall thoughts, opinions, rating, everything about this season in general. So if you just wanted to check that out too, you can skip ahead to that. But yeah, let's get going. So did he already go back?
何やってんだお前。なんでここにお前が。なんでって。お前んち行こうと思ったらこんなとこで一人でタイヤと戦ってるのは僕見てる。この雨の中タイヤと喋るのはちょっとキモすぎるぞお前。うっせえ。誰よりも強くなってやるんだ。
You're losing a fight to a tire. Yeah, he's back. Big brains of the gang and now have to come up with a plan to figure out the leader. Yeah. This is the only way he knows how to train. So he wants to put himself in a position that they don't have to stand up for him and he can do it himself. Or not have to quit, not be looked at as somebody who needs to be... Right, okay. Right. Yeah. He's serious about it. That's all it means. What'd you come up with? Get stronger? Right. That's what I was saying at the beginning. I have no clue where you go from here. There's no clue, that's the thing. The leader, the only clue is you left and put more responsibility on the leader. That's all we have. Yeah. The worst one yet. He's happy to have him back. Yeah. Be some sense into him. No, I don't think that'll do anything. Right. So you gotta find somebody that'll seriously take him on. That's just because you're dumb. Sometimes that's what's needed though. That's what everyone does. You gotta bring him some joy. But isn't that necessary? Like the same thing that he told him before? He agreed that he'd be there for him and then he wasn't. That's a big claim, dude. It does not work well like that. We will be the Tokyo Revengers. It's an interesting line of thought. I don't know if he's actually going to never go back into the future. I don't think that makes much sense, because if something goes bad here, you have no way of undoing it. So you kind of have to take it one step at a time and then keep flashing forward and trying to gain clues. I think that's really the smart way to go about it. But him saying this, I think, is more of a claim to himself and a way for himself to be motivated and push himself and strive to get where he needs to be. So it works for that reason. We're gonna force one. It's cool in theory, but it's like, but if you're setting your whole group up for something like that, that's kind of fucked. Just 12 years? That's a pretty long time. That's a cool line.
わかんねえけど、何か変わっちまうきっかけはあったってことだろう。そもそも今回一番変わったことといえば、妃が東卍を追放されたってことだし。
I mean, and...
Ah,
brother. We're not going down this route, are we? Okay, yeah, that's true. I don't know how that conversation would go. Are we gonna have it? Stumbling there, buddy. Gotta get my revenge, yep. The greatest and final conflict in Tomon's history. They're gonna get jumped. They're using their status to scare people off. Uh-oh. You haven't done anything. Yeah. By reading your manga. I have to defeat all the other gangs and then I can do it. It'd be some dumb idea. I hope not. The sacred texts are in the mangas. I'm not following. Yeah, so he does just want to take him down. Got it. Not coming. You're just all talk. Oh, they came looking for him? They all pulled up. What the fuck? No, he is not, sir. Please let him go. No, okay. Well. That's not smart. That's like so many of them. You're gonna sacrifice yourself? Yeah, just chase him. Yeah, I mean, I get why he did it, but it was not the smart move. I mean, we can tell that, yeah. 300? Connect the dots. Yeah, where'd they come from?
冬がやべえ。ちょっと忘れ物。
Gotta
す
go
ぐ
get
合流する
Chifu.
から。ち冬の野郎。
Yeah.
かっこつけやがって。無事でいてくれ。
You didn't see him coming the whole way? Look at all of them.
死ねえ。待てこれ。
No, they came back. Okay. The boys pulled back up.
俺たちはただの溝中古人衆じゃなくて、東満の一番隊で、お前は隊長なんだ。
Cool.
ち冬助けに行くんだろう。
So we're here with you. Yeah. Respect.
俺らだって東満だ。仲間を見捨てねえんだよ。
You worked so hard. You punched that damn tire for weeks, bro. Put it to use. Come on, boys. We're gonna need somebody to pull up and stop him, or it's gonna have to get called off.
TENJIKUなんて聞いたこともねえ。今までの過去にこんな奴らいなかったはずだ。
Well, new things come up when other things fall. When you change the past, new things happen.
何が何だかわかんねえだろ。
Kisaki.
キサキ。
What did you think was gonna happen, if we're being honest? Kick the dude out the group and he's got hundreds of members.
ヒーロー。
Yeah.
ヒーロー。関東事変を始めようか。
Not as big of a cliffhanger as the last time. Wait, I expected that to happen. Literally said all of us episode how this was gonna occur. There was no reason for him to not go start a new group or go join a new group. There's zero reason to not. So that damn bastard that we've been pissed about and not liked for 40 episodes now tries to take out his revenge, joins up with a new group, brings all of his boys with him, and is about to raise hell on our group. We saw it coming. There was no reason that it wouldn't occur. Maybe we didn't see the thing with Mikey occurring because I didn't personally. But I saw this coming. Like, it just made too much sense to not happen. They literally like warned Mikey too. Like, oh, we're gonna take all these guys with us too if we leave. Like, what did you think was gonna occur? So yeah, I don't know. I'm the way I'm acting makes it seem like I'm upset. I thought this was a good setup and great episode, like to kind of do it like that. So I'm not upset about that. I just think like them leaving us like that, it's expected, which was, you know, rather unfortunate. I was kind of hoping for more of like a shock thing, like kind of what happened at the end of season 1 to occur again. Didn't happen. Is what it is though. It's okay. I guess the only thing that like is supposed to be shock value or like leave you like, oh, like I wanting more and wanting to know is what happens here at, you know, where they're at right now. Are they going to get their ass kicked? Is he going to kill them? Like, what's going to happen, right? But even then, I'm really not that concerned because I feel like it's not going to be done this way. So we essentially spend the entire episode, or at least first half of it, with Takemichi and Chifu kind of reconnecting back in the past now one more time and trying to work out or at least discuss what they could do, what could be the next move. Takemichi talks about how he didn't have anywhere to go. He had no clues. He had absolutely nothing about what he could do to change what actually just occurred in this future, which is the similar feeling as to I had. I literally had no clue which direction that they could bring that. The only thing that made sense to me was stick by Mikey probably more, or make that dude go to therapy. Like, those are like the only two things I think like I could have thought of. So realistically, none of those are going to happen here. So instead of the let me stick by him, well, it is kind of let me stick by him. Takemichi tries to take the approach of I want to get stronger to a point that people don't kind of look down on me or people kind of respect me and won't try and like let me leave the group, or I won't have to like feel like afraid if we go down a path of violence or something, and I can kind of stick by Mikey that direction, which makes a lot of sense. And I like that he brought that up, and that was kind of his idea behind going with this. However, it doesn't really seem like that's the route that he's going to go, as for whatever reason he thinks that they just need to like set Mikey up in a way, and not set him up, but bring conflict to him by Chifu and him targeting Mikey and kind of making him realize there's people that will fight you and take you on serious and knock you back down and pull you out of whatever that darkness is within you and kind of trying to pull you down and causing all this stuff that happens in the future to occur, right? So, I mean, it is understandable. The strategy's not the most solid, but it's understandable. We then see our boys getting beat up, or Takamichi's boys, that is, and a whole bunch of gang stuff starts going down. We get to see our glimpse into the new group that we're going to be focusing the entirety of the next season and the next arc on, which is exciting. It's a nice, glimpse into exactly what's going to be coming next. It's similarly done to how they flashed and showed us a few people and mentioned Black Dragon before, and during the final episode last season, so we kind of had an understanding of like where we were going to go. Even though they didn't specify that completely, it made us realize Kisaki's an issue and Black Dragons are now kind of appearing and a part of our group now, so that could cause an issue as well. So we see that again with this new group coming up. TENJIKU, I think is how you say it, however you say it. They're the new group that we're going to have to be fighting. The captain of the group looks like somebody we don't know yet. I saw the PV image on Twitter earlier today. Like I said, I saw that third season was announced. So I saw that and I saw him in that image. So I already knew that, they were going to show that off. So I was kind of expecting us to see him at some point in this episode. Unfortunately, had that spoiled. But the Kisaki thing was kind of new to me, but makes sense because it wasn't really, because I expected it. I just kind of was under the impression he was going to start his own group. But the fact that he just joined up and brought a whole bunch of new stuff to the group makes sense. The fact that this wasn't a group before and in any of these past timelines, as far as we know, and they're new and popping up, is cool because it kind of shows if certain things had gone different directions, this group wouldn't pop up. And they probably were a group before, but they were never able to get that big and become that much of a threat because Kisaki was around. And now the fact that he is gone and he's that big factor that we got rid of and all of his men with him, and they go and build up this other group, it's going to make things a lot more complicated and a lot more of an issue. So we're attempting now at this point to bring a big fight against our group, and hopefully it kind of makes everybody come together more as one, allows people to kind of think more clearly, allows people to not go their own direction in the future, allows them to kind of rely on each other more, just something I think along that route, and hopefully brings us down a level and doesn't let our heads get too big and think that we're this massive group that's completely unstoppable, and it kind of puts us in our place a bit more, and maybe even puts Mikey in his place a bit more, to the point that he won't get a little too big and want to go down a path like this again in the future if he sees something happen, like maybe one of his guys die or something like that happens again, and that won't be an issue. But I don't think that's going to be the case, because whatever this darkness is that we keep talking within him and all this stuff that he has going on with him, I am assuming it's going to be something that escalates even more and kind of progresses, and we're going to see a bit more inside of it going into the next season. So excited to see however that gets handled, because I like him a lot as a character, and I think he's probably the most interesting one, or if not, then like top like 2 or 3 in the series that I've seen. So he's exciting to see, and I really am curious the route that they go down with that. But I don't really want to create too many more predictions and things to think about. We're going to have probably 2 more years before I have to even think about it again. So yeah, there's that. I'm not sure if I plan to go read the manga at all. I don't really have a lot of time right now to sit down or a drive that makes me like want to go read it, I'll be honest. But if I do feel like sitting down at some random point and doing it, I'll do it. And then, down the line, if this comes out and I'm still doing these videos and there's none on this channel, you know exactly what happened. But if not, then I'll be back in like 2 more years probably for that, if I'm still around doing this. Now, overall thoughts, opinions, season 2. I have to say I am beyond disappointed. Not to make it negative or anything. It's going to end up being a bit negative the way I'm speaking, but it's just kind of how I feel and my overall thoughts and opinions on this. I have the ability in my mind of separating what I'm watching as in the art and what I'm watching as in like the story, and how they each unfold and how they each combine together and how they each elevate one another and bring you a different experience. I've done that with many other shows before. There's plenty of shows that I like where I don't think they were animated well. There's plenty of shows where I like were animated well, but then fall flat in one or the other category, and it can either ruin a show or it can not even affect it that much. Season 1 of the show is a prime example for that, in my opinion. The direction in the show is boring. It just is. There's no other way to put it. The animation is not good at all. It's not even average, in my opinion. I don't think it is. I don't think I'm getting a better experience watching the show than I could if I just read it. That's my personal opinion. However, with the first season, I fell so in love with the characters and the story and so much that goes around it, I didn't even care about the animation. All of it just became backgrounds for me. And I just kind of took up, the sound, everything like within it, and kind of just immersed myself and said, is what it is. We're not going to focus on animation. We're not going to focus on art. We're not going to focus on anything. And we're just going to watch the story unfold. And it was fantastic. Absolutely loved it. Going into season 2, was expecting to do the exact same thing. Basically went through the first half of it. By the time we got to the main fight and I started having issues with the way it was animated and the way it was done, is what it is. I know I had frustrations about it, and I still do. I still think it was done extremely poor, but it doesn't make it awful, right? It doesn't ruin anything for it. What ruins it for me is I felt this arc was extremely lacking in its story. And that's something that if I felt the story was really strong and really, really good, we wouldn't be having this discussion about me, complaining and trying to compare these and make sure that you understand this. That's just kind of how it went. I just did not care. I didn't think Hakai was that interesting of like a story that they had going on with him and his sister. I didn't feel Taiju was that interesting to me. I've never personally been interested in the big brawlic, I'm just going to fight type of guys. And I understand Taiju has some other stuff, like underlying things that can lead to who he was and the type of character he was, and we talked about that when the time was up for it. But overall, as a character, he does nothing because I can't relate to him and I can't care for what he does or what he brought to the table. I just can't. I never really cared for Takemichi as a character. This season, I don't think did anything that kind of made me feel better about him as a character either. I felt the entirety of the side cast did a lot more for me that I would still like enjoy a lot more, and unfortunately they were kind of isolated and not as brought into the story until episode 10, 11, 12, back end like that. A lot of problems like that. I thought the setup for the entire fight was actually rather interesting. I thought they did a decent job of getting it going for the first couple episodes. It started off pretty slow, but I think by the time we hit like episode like 3 or 4 or 5, something around there, it started picking up and I started getting a bit more invested and enjoyed it when we were trying to plot and make our plan for what we're going to do on Christmas, all that. But then once we got to the actual church and everything happened, it was uninteresting to me. It really was. I tried to make light of it as much as I could and laugh it off and have fun. It really wasn't. Held out hope, continued all the way through. Back end of the season, once again, it started picking back up once the fighting and the whole Taiju stuff ended. We got into a better area. The episode with Mikey was fantastic. Everything that I've been missing and been wanting. This episode, another great way to kind of segue you into what you're going to get next season, give you a little bit of taste, kind of leave you off on something, wanting more. I think that's these last 2 episodes were probably the highlight of the entire season for me. I understand there's underlying things. There's a lot of setup. There's stuff like that. There's things to deal with strength. There's things to deal with bonds in your family and kind of having people around you and not being alone and all of this stuff. And I understand it. Maybe I don't understand it to a perfect level, but I understand what I at least believe that they were attempting to go after this. But it doesn't really do much for me. It didn't add up to anything. I wasn't feeling it. I like the setup. I understand a lot of the things, regarding Mikey and stuff like that, setting up for probably what's going to be coming. I understand, the hero thing that they tried setting up at the back end of last season, brought it up a little bit again. We're going to have to probably see a bit more of that next season. I get that. It didn't really amount to anything for me. So yeah, overall, very disappointed. If I had to rate it, I'd probably give it a low 5. Really, really wasn't feeling. And for reference, I gave the first season a 9. So just for you to have an understanding of how disappointed I was with this, but that's probably the best I could do. And I might change my opinion over time. I don't think so. But for right now, it's like a low 5 for me. High 4, low 5. It's a very, very unflattering season. It wasn't enjoyable. It was more so enjoyable because I get to laugh off the moments that were kind of serious. Like I tried to take them serious and they were difficult. But is what it is. What are you going to do? If you enjoyed the season a lot more than me, let me know in the comments. Let me know why. If not, maybe you enjoyed it the same amount as me. Also, let me know why. Was it for the same reasons that I brought up? Do you have your own reasons? Let me know. You excited about the 3rd season? Also, let me know that. Should I just read the manga instead? Let me know. If you like this at all, though, leave a like, subscribe. Do mean a lot to me. Follow me Twitter, my anime list. Both links are in the description. Check out the other videos on the channel. Recommend me other things to watch for the spring season, specifically what's going to replace this. Actually, I think what's going to replace this is going to end up being Hell's Paradise, but I do plan to try and add in a lot more. I'm trying to find extra time and fix my sleeping schedule and some other things so I have more time to be able to do this. So I might be able to fit in some extra shows anyways. Appreciate you all for all the love and everything on this series in general, though. It means a lot. Anybody who was new and subscribed throughout this one and was just here for the journey overall, hopefully you stick around for some other stuff. If not, may I see you back in a couple of years, hopefully. That'd be cool. Appreciate it. You guys have a good one, though. See ya.